Let's talk about the SMU Mustangs. Of course, our cover boy of the 2020 Texas or Dave Campbell's Texas football with Shane Buechele on it. We're going to hand out some grades. The offense, I'm going to give an A-. Now, again, I would probably say it's a little closer to a B+ than it is an A, but I think an A- for SMU feels right. What I was particularly impressed with was the balance that they were able to have. Because for all we talked about Shane Buechele, and he had another 3,000-yard passing year, for all we talked about some of the weapons that they had, and remember, halfway through the year, they lost their best weapon, in Reggie Roberson. But they had that depth there with Rashee Rice, with Kylan Granson. They got Tyler Page and Danny Grayson run. But when you add in the rushing attack, with Ulysses Bentley, right? With TJ McDaniel, who also got hurt in the middle of the season, right? With Tyler Levine. Like, they were able to beat you in a lot of different ways. I thought the SMU offense was one of the best in the state. And I think that it was a really terrific offense to watch. That, look, we thought they were going to be pretty good. If they had stayed healthy, I would have loved to see just how good they were going to be.
Right.
But overall, I don't think there's anything you can turn your nose up at for SMU offensively. I'll give them an A-. On the defensive side, I'm going to give them a C-. Okay?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit generous here. But this was a team that had all sorts of trouble getting off the field. And a team that had all sorts of trouble forcing splash plays. A team that just didn't do anything on the defense particularly well. They didn't stop the run very well, and teams, knew it. They were going to run. They were going to run at you. They did not stop the pass very well. I mean, this is a defense that I think struggled for the most part.
Yeah.
And when you're giving up 33 points a game, I mean, it's great that you're scoring 37, right?
Right.
But you cannot go out there and say, hey, offense, you have to have an A+ game or else we're going to lose.
Right.
And more often than not, that was a situation. I can't necessarily think of a defense that was able to came up with I can't come up with a team a game they played where the defense really took center stage.
And it was frustrating because it was the epitome of you look at the game overall and could quite literally say if they could have just got one or at max 2 stops, then you win.
Well,
all the games flip.
Well, and the thing is, you look at some of these numbers, like they were 97th in the nation in third down conversions, like allowed on defense. Like you just can't win that.
No,
you just can't win that way. If you're not stopping them on third down, and you're only 82nd in interception rate, like you're in the negative in turnover margin. It's just hard to win that game. It's hard to win that game. So I give the defense a C-. I don't think it was terrible. I thought it was a little bit disappointing.
Yes.
Team MVP, I'm going to give it to the freshman.
I like it.
I'm going to give Ulysses Bentley IV. I thought that he was really the guy that especially there was a lot of pressure put on him when TJ McDaniel went down. That, all right, you got to be our guy. You got to give Shane Buechele some relief. And sure enough, he was terrific. 913 yards and 11 touchdowns on the ground. That's what you need, right? Now, I think that his emergence is one of the most promising stories, I think, for SMU heading into 2021. When you take a look at 2021, once again, as Sonny Dykes likes to do, they've been very active on the transfer market, okay? Bad news, they're losing their top quarterback. Shane Buechele is transferring, or he's going to the NFL draft. They're losing their top tight end. Kylan Granson's going to the NFL draft. They're losing one of their backup quarterbacks in Terrence Gibson. He's transferring. They're losing their backup tight end in Kedrick James. He's transferring. He's in the transfer portal. But they've already filled in a lot of these roles, right? They're getting Tanner Mordecai from Oklahoma. I would say let's be generous. Let's say that he is going to compete for the starting job. I think it's probably his to lose.
Yep.
And I don't think he's transferring in to be a backup.
Right.
So between him, they bring in Trey Siggers from North Texas. They bring in a trio of tight ends in Grant Calcaterra from Oklahoma, Simon Gonzalez from Texas Tech, and Nolan Matthews from Arizona State. They are bringing in a bunch of guys, which is kind of par for the course. So look, I think if you were to look at the overall numbers of what they've got coming back for SMU, I don't necessarily know that the numbers are all that impressive, right? Like they're losing a lot of that defense, and they're losing a lot of the production they've got offensively, right? Especially because Shane Buechele's leaving. But I think that we have now reached the point, in my opinion, that Sonny Dykes gets the benefit of the doubt as far as identifying transfer talent and finding the right fit, guys who can sit in here and fit in immediately. I give him the benefit of the doubt, so I'm pretty bullish on SMU heading into 2021. Of course, one or two of those things goes wrong, and it all goes to Kapalui. But I do think that Sonny Dykes has earned that benefit of the doubt on the transfer market. And so even though they're losing a number of big-time playmakers, I still think that they're going to be a problem.
I think alone what he did with Shane Buechele was enough to prove that, right? Because you look at his tenure in Texas, and it was real rough for Texas fans. And you're going, well, okay, it's SMU. Can he even? And then he comes out probably the best quarterback in the state, or in the conversation.
So that is SMU. I'm pretty bullish on them heading into 2021.